What's up, everybody? Patreon, welcome back. I just wanted to say hello. You're watching an episode with Dominic Cicale, our favorite wise guy. He came back on and we discussed the open contract that's out on his head in the wake of our viral episode we had. Whoops, sorry about that, Dom. As well as some other fascinating things just about the mafia and how they make money out of construction and all this shit that we didn't even get to in our free episode. So you're going to love this one. I just wanted to say what's up. I hadn't talked to you guys personally in a while. I wanted to thank everybody, especially the new people, for coming on board. We love you guys. We're always trying to put out more and better content exclusively for you. So yeah, dude, I'm really hungover. I had something really deep and heartfelt to tell you yesterday when I thought about saying hello with a sober mind. And now I'm barely functioning. So we're just going to get right to it. But again, like this is, a lot of what we're able to do is because of you guys, because of your patronage, your subscription every month. If there's anything you guys want to see, please, like any subjects discussed, any any topics covered, any specific types of content, we want to do a live stream too. Comment, would you guys participate in like a Patreon Q&A where you're literally live with me asking questions and I'm responding here in the studio? We want to do that soon, like in the next month. So I think that would be really fun, especially if we can get everybody to participate. The more people, the merrier. That will be a lot of fun. By the way, I hope you loved the documentary that came out of the Saltwater Cowboys this week. We just thought we'd do something different. We weren't going to do that. We went and filmed that about 4 months ago over spring break in Florida with Timmy McBride in the very areas that he used to operate, Chokoloskee Island and shit like that. We weren't originally going to put this out on the main channel. We were going to put it on my personal channel. We didn't even know how it was going to turn out. It came out so good that I was like, Brian and I agreed. We were like, fuck that. This is going, dropping on the main channel as a Sunday episode, like old school Connect style. And I just love it, dude. I would tell you what, I would make these documentaries. If we had the manpower, I would be making this shit all the time. I loved, making this and I loved, the subject matter. So, and I love editing and filmmaking, all that bullshit. So we should, hopefully we'll be able to do this again. But it was a very exceptional episode. But next week we'll be back to our regular interviews. But yeah, we just wanted to just fuck them up real quick. Put out something new, something different. So I hope you enjoyed that and you're going to love this episode with Dominic. I hope July is going well for you and, keep buying the stock market, keep buying Bitcoin. Johnny likes to give you, I like to give you my amateur investing advice, and, try not to get an STD, but if you do, it's probably not that big of a deal. It's probably curable. If she's hot enough, if he's hot enough, I'd say roll the dice. You know what I mean? Life is like a dice game. My name's been Johnny Mitchell, and you are watching The Connect with Dominic Cicale. Patreon, thank you again from the bottom of my heart. I do love you and appreciate you, and we will see you next week. Take care. Patreon, what's going on? Dom Cicale. So honored to speak with you again. Your episode is now, I think, a top 12 episode views-wise on the entire Connect channel. So, it really, I'm glad you reached out to us.
No,
and glad we could make that happen.
I'm glad you had me. I'm impressed. I saw some of the numbers and I was like really impressed.
So in the wake of that, something happened and, I don't stay up on all like the YouTube gossip. There's like a mafia specific YouTube, world, right, that exists. Guys like Jeff, that guy, he runs like the Mafia Report or whatever. But something went down with you and correct me if I'm wrong, because I didn't even look into it. I wanted to ask you in person. Did somebody threaten your life again recently?
Not me directly, but I was told there is a contract on my life to be careful. And it actually came, and I was also told, please don't put it out there because your life's in danger. But I felt it was necessary to put it out there because now that they are exposed, what's it going to do? They're going to back up. Because now if I wind up dead, everybody knows it was between Johnny Joe, Michael Hippie, and Michael Mancuso. And
who are those three? Tell us who those three people are and what organizations they're associated with.
Johnny Joe is the underboss now of the Bonanno crime family. Okay. Michael Hippie is a captain in the Genovese crime family. And Michael knows is a boss of the Bonanno crime family, and he's currently incarcerated. And from what I was told, Michael wants that hit before he comes home so he wouldn't be a prime suspect. And I'm not going to reveal. The shooter is basically a guy in the neighborhood, my neighborhood in the Pelham Bay section of the Bronx, who's known to be a junkie who never follows through with things, and his name is also Dominic DeLucia. So, and I put it out there just to actually back them up because I am living as a civilian nowadays. Am I going to run? No, I'm not going to run from anybody. I'm not hiding. I'm not looking for a problem. But if something comes to my doorstep, and I told law enforcement this, I'm going to leave them in the street if I have the opportunity, if they don't get me off guard. And I'm going to make sure that I take them out and then call law enforcement.
How serious is a threat like this in the modern day? Like how, when the mob threatens to take somebody out because of informing in this day and age, can they still go through with that? Do they still have that kind of juice?
Absolutely. It doesn't take much to kill somebody. It's just somebody with a gun or a knife or, just to get somebody off guard. But like I was told, everybody up there is being monitored, being watched. And I figured that was going to come down because, and that's why I even put it out to Ernie, Big Ernie. Control your guys. Because I know when Quiet Dom was still alive, he probably just told everybody to leave him alone.
Who's Big Ernie?
Big Ernie is up there in the ranks of the Genovese crime family. And, he was my mentor. Right. So I put it out to him, Ernie Muscarello, where you better tell Hippie to back up him. Hippie, I'm sure, is answering to Patty Falsetti, who's also supposedly is a consigliere of the Genovese. You never know who's who in the Genovese because they always put buffers to protect one another. They do it the right way.
Yeah.
But and Hippie and I, there's no love lost there. Like I said, I think I said on your show, when we were younger, I had robbed him. I put a gun to him, took his drugs, kicked him out of the car. And, he left the car like a punk because that's all he is. He's the type of guy that needs 9 guys behind him to fight. He'll never go one-on-one with somebody. It's always 9-on-1 or 10-on-1.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like this doesn't seem like a professional job, the way the Genovese are known to act. Like, this doesn't seem like thorough work. If you're going to touch somebody, just touch them.
To be honest, I think it was thorough work. It's just they don't know there's so many cooperators out there.
Right.
They don't know now who spoke, who said something. Right. So that's the issue.
Did the feds bring this to you?
It was brought to me. It was brought to me to be careful, to look out, to watch out, keep my guards up. But where I live on my property, I have cameras, motion detectors, and I do it not that there's a threat on my life. It's just for my own security, my own protection. And then I have a slew of pit bulls, so I'm always alerted. I'm always on guard. And it's just me. Even if I never cooperate, I would still live in that format. Even when I was in New York, I had a pit bull and I had a Rottweiler in my house. And I was well known in the Bronx where I wouldn't have to lock my door in my house, but I still did it. I'm just always cautious with my surroundings.
Are you allowed to carry?
No, I'm not. But you know what? They do have air guns that are legal for me to carry. And if you Google online a deadly air gun, they do as much damage as a 38. Some of them as much damage as a 9mm would do. And you could get off 5-6 shots with that type of velocity.
Oh, shit.
So, and those are legal.
Right.
So
those technically aren't firearms.
Yeah, they cost about $2,000 a piece, but it's well worth it. So
wow. Yeah. So you'd rather take some time in jail for defending yourself than end up dead?
Oh, I'm defending myself. State of Florida, they have self-defense law, and especially if somebody comes in from New York who doesn't belong on my property or in the surrounding area, and I wind up leaving them there, and they find out that they are associated, they are from Pelham Bay or Brooklyn, Queens, Staten Island, and they are affiliated with organized crime, I beat they won't charge me. They will not charge me. So I'm protecting myself. They have no business being here. And especially, I'm sure they'll have a weapon on them as well.
Of course. Of course. Do you think this had anything to do with our podcast?
I'm not sure. I know, again, there's no love lost with Michael Hippie. There's no love lost with Michael Knows, who's the boss of the Bonanos. But I would have thought Johnny Joe has more sense. I know Hippie is probably answering to Patty Falsetti. I would have thought Patty Falsetti had more sense than that. That's why I put out there, Ernie Muscarello, tell you guys to back up. Otherwise, you know what? Come for me. And even if they did hit me, which can happen, I'm not invincible. I know that. They will, you know what the government will do to organize crime up there? All those bosses. They would have to make a statement because it's not like I'm living in New York, living in Pelham Bay, that I'm throwing it in their face every day. I'm doing my thing, my little part of the world outside of New York. Even I was up there for Vlad. I did a interview with Vlad. I was in Manhattan. I didn't go to the Bronx. I could have easily went. And, I went up there for the day, went out to dinner with some of my old friends up there. They knew I was up there. They came, saw me. We ate in Manhattan. And then I got back on a plane, went back down to Florida. So...
Well, it seems like you're not the only wise guy that cooperated and is now on YouTube. So
no, I'm not.
It's like, why now? Why do they feel after years that now is the time to get you? Like, I feel like, I'm not tooting my own horn, but we got a lot of eyeballs on the episode. And the timing was pretty strange. I'm like, geez, maybe they saw this and it reignited like fury in Michael the Nose, or what is his name? The Nose.
Michael the Nose. But Michael the Nose is incarcerated. So what I'm thinking, the way I was told, he wanted this hit to go down because he has now. If he's home, what's going to happen? He's going to be the prime suspect. If he's away in jail, now he has an airtight alibi. I'm in jail. I didn't order a hit. So this was probably initiated before he went away, and people got wind of it because there's so many cooperators out there, and they want to get their brownie points with the government.
That's so crazy. Like they couldn't even organize a hit amongst themselves without it leaking.
No. Now if Hippie, well, like I said, Hippie's a stone cold punk. If he's part of it, he should have came down. That's like if it was Vinny and myself, Vinny goes to jail, Vinny left a hit to me, I'm going to go do it. I'm going to keep my mouth shut. I might have told Ace. I might have told Bruno. Somebody close to me like that, but they would have been part of the hit team. Because whoever comes down here, number one, they have a tremendous disadvantage. They don't know the area. And I know my area. I know my surroundings. I know what's out of place, what's not out of place. And then if they go to that level that somebody in my family, God forbid, gets hurt, all bets are off. I will be in New York in a split second. I could care less about doing life in prison. They're going to see the old Dominic times 10. And I know where they all live. So, and you know what? That's my area of the Bronx. So I'm familiar with the area. It's not like me going into a strange area, but all bets will be off. So Jesus Christ could come down and is not going to save them if somebody in my family ever got harmed. And that's just the way it is. And I'm not saying it to be a tough guy. I'm just saying that that's a fact. That's definitely a fact.
Would they violate the code like that? Do you think wise guys would hurt? You know, that's been off limits, right? That's in the rule book. You don't touch family.
Well, you can never say never. It could have been an accident. They're coming for me, but God forbid a stray bullet or something hits somebody in my family.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's just, you know, things happen. You can never say never. It just, you're not supposed to kill a boss. Sammy and John Gotti killed Paul Castellano.
Right.
You know, a boss is not supposed, nobody in organized crime is supposed to cooperate. Look, Joe Messina wore a wire. First boss in history. Not only did he cooperate, he wore a wire against Vinny Basciano.
Yeah.
So
have you considered that this hit team of these 3 or 4 guys, could you consider that one of them might be cooperating? You know, like that guy got an order. I can't remember the gentleman's name, the punk. He got an order from Michael the Nose. Hey, go take out Dom. And he said, yeah, let's do it. And then he went to the feds.
Well, I think it's more with Johnny Joe had the order. He was discussing it with Michael Hippie, 2 different crime families. Johnny Joe, I always got along with him. Michael Hippie, I never got along with him, but Johnny Joe's following orders. So I guess with Hippie, they're trying to facilitate who can we send, who can we get. But to answer your question, I never thought I would cooperate. So I wouldn't put it past anyone. So for me to say no, I would be the biggest fool to say, no, they would never cooperate. I didn't think I would ever cooperate. Everybody thought Joe Messina would never cooperate, especially wear a wire, especially Vinny Basciano. Yet he did. So you can never say no to that.
Yeah.
You know, in this type of environment, this is not the old days, but again, you have people, they want to move up in the ranks. They want to prove themselves. They want to become somebody. The mafia is still, even when I do my podcast, there's people that still glamorizing the streets. They glamorize guys like Joey Molino.
Yeah.
Like, I look at it like, are you people like fools? Like, this is a guy who will extort you, kill you, harm you, and you're going to glamorize him? I mean, it's mind-boggling, but that, you know, the mafia, Hollywood made the mafia glamorous, the lifestyle glamorous, and it's not glamorous. It's not glamorous.
Can I ask you about Joey Merlino? So, you know, he's going on all these podcasts and he's saying, you can't call me the boss. You could call me the alleged boss, kind of insinuating that he's still active. Which is interesting because everybody that comes on podcasts that's affiliated is not anymore. But it sounds like Joey's still either behind the scenes or more overtly is still in the game. Do you know what's going on with him in Philadelphia?
Joey is still the boss. Joey just stepped back. Number one, you don't go through what you went through all those years to get the top position, because it's a gravy train for him as far as Christmas time, monthly contributions. He stepped back. He's out of the limelight in the mafia life, but I'm sure he gets his envelopes, however he gets them. But Joey is a degenerate gambler from what I heard, and he says it himself as well. And just recently, and I can't divulge, you know, my sources because they're good friends of mine, but Joey lost a ton of money and somebody paid it for him. It's ridiculous. So he's not going to give up that top position. Are guys in the life upset with him? Absolutely. They just, I think, firebombed his steakhouse or his Subway house, whatever he had in Philly. He opened up a little restaurant or fast food or sandwich shop. They firebombed it on him. So there are guys that are upset with him because he shouldn't be in the public eye. All you're doing is drawing light to you. And I was one of the first ones on YouTube that commented about it. And I said, Joey, if you're smart, you wouldn't be on YouTube. You're saying you're not talking about crimes, Viv, but eventually you're going to slip up Something's going to be said, and the government's going to be the government's watching all of this. And trust me, with him even more so, because they want him. They have a hard on for him. They want him off the streets, and he keeps on throwing it in their face, just like what John Gotti did. Instead of backing up, pulling up, he was even more in the public eye, in the persona of the public. And Joey Molino's doing that now times 10. And I think
it seems like
definitely numbered.
It seems like Molino's trying to live this this John Gotti public figure life, but in the age of the internet and YouTube.
And he's trying to be the Robin Hood of the streets for the people. And
right,
you know, he came out and said, "I'm not doing this for money. I'm doing it to expose all the rats and expose them and talk the truth." Yeah, he went off of YouTube because they weren't monetizing him, because he uses profanity every other sentence. And then he said that people go to my Patreon because they're not monetizing me. But I thought you weren't doing it for the money, Joey. So if you read into things, listen, he seems I never met him in person. I heard a lot about him. Degenerate gambler, very charismatic, fun to be with. You'll have a blast. And he hates cooperators, rats. I appreciate that. I respect that. But stop bullshitting people at the end of the day, because that's all he's doing. But, you know, he does his own thing, and I respect him. He's doing his own thing, too.
So did he never cooperate or take a pinch or anything like that? What is the history of, tell us a little bit about the history of Joey Merlino and the Philadelphia crime family, which I think is the Scarpo family.
From what I know with Joey Molino, he was in the mob war against John Stamfer. They battled it out. Joey wound up winning to become the boss of the Philly family. Joey did a lot of jail time, in and out of prison, fought some cases, won some big cases. So, of course, now the government has a hard-on for him. Definitely. He's not a rat. However, when you take the oath in Cosa Nostra, the first thing they say, you're not allowed to speak to the media. You're not allowed to speak to law enforcement. And those just two of the many things you're not supposed to do. So if I speak to the media, what are they saying? I'm a rat. As soon as you talk to law enforcement and you give them any information, whether it helps them or not, you're a rat. You could get killed for that. Right. So by Joey coming on social media, by the code of Omerta and the code of Cosa Nostra, he's a rat, because he's not an actor. He's not an athlete that he's on. He's in the mafia. And you shouldn't be in the public limelight. Now, granted, if they take pictures of you walking into a restaurant, cool, that's different. But by you promoting yourself on social media and you getting on talking about things, even I heard him talk about crimes that he did time for, that why are you talking about this? You shouldn't be talking about it, because God forbid. I heard one guy go on a show talking about a crime and said, "Oh, the statute of limitations ran out, so I could talk about it. This is in the beginning." I'm like, you got to be the biggest fool. With organized crime, statutes of limitations never runs out, because they RICO you. They keep on saying because of the continuance of the crime family. So people don't even realize half the time. It might not even be Joey that slips up. It might be one of his cronies. But now Joey's implicated, and it's going to give him a case. So in the beginning, I told Joey, you need to step back, because I don't want to see anybody in jail. But, you know, Joey's Joey. And, you know, I went back and forth with them a little bit, you know, and actually I used to say Joey Molino and Little Scruff, you know, just to break chops a little bit. A Little Scruff turned around and told Joey, you know what? I'm going to call Dom Chicklets. Nice. I started laughing. I commended them with that. But it was all good. And, you know, it's just, it's different. I guess it gave the genre some life, having him on. But, you know, Joey's Joey. He'll do his own thing. I respect him for that. But being they took the oath of Cosa Nostra, that's a rat move, what he's doing.
Definitely.
It's called dry snitching.
Yeah, dry snitching. So that's, I didn't even know that. So even if it's a crime that it normally would have a statute of limitations, like whatever, let's say loan sharking, right? Say it's a 10-year statute of limitations. If they charge you with a RICO as part of a family, they can go back as far as they want.
Correct. They were talking about Joey's mother cashing checks. Oh, we go to her, we give her money, she cashed the check, or she cashed the check, give us cash. So I think Joey's mother had passed away. I didn't know it at the time. But okay, so if there's other people they're talking about in that, even though it happened 20, 25 years ago, it's still part of organized crime. So they could always go back. Yeah. There are no statute of limitations when you're talking Cosa Nostra.
What do you think the attitude today, in this day and age, 2024, what do you think the FBI's attitude towards Italian Cosa Nostra in the United States is? Like, do they still have a massive hard-on for you guys? Do they still have the resources that were dedicated toward taking you guys down, like compared to, you know, John Gotti's era, the 90s, right? The end of the heyday for the mob? Or do they kind of see you guys as like, well, you know what? If they're not killing each other, let these old guys, you know, have their rackets, and we don't really prosecute that much. Like, what? Because I know you know some FBI guys. What's your take on it?
They cut back a lot as far as they downsized on their task force, but they're still monitoring. They're not as vigorously monitoring due to the fact of the Bloods, the Crips, the Dominicans, the Mexicans, all those crime syndicates, because they're committing a lot of acts of violence, so they're spread out a lot more. But they're definitely on top of the mafia in other ways. The mafia did go underground a lot. They're still out there. It's still a force. You still have kids. And like I said, Hollywood glamorized the mafia life so much. You have these kids in these neighborhoods. That's all they want. That's all they look up to till this day.
Still?
They look up to a wise guy. Absolutely. But listen, even if I was still in the life today, and this is what I do miss about the life. Okay, I'm not the average thug trying to make my money off of loan sharking, extortion. That was never my racket. My racket was basically, I would take legitimate companies like big construction companies, and instead of going into them and tell them, and I had one with me, I don't want to mention their name because, you know, the guy who owned the company, great guy. And I told him, I said, listen, his name was, I'll keep it at Joe. I said, Joe, I don't want an envelope from you. If you have any issues with anybody, you come to me, I'll handle it. So he said, then what do you want? I said, I want you to give me first right to refusal on all your jobs. So if you have bricklayers come in, let me bid out the brickwork, because at the time we were heavy in the construction business. I have crews that could come in. So let me bid it out. So if you have a bid at $500,000 and I can't match it or come on below it to make money, go with the people. If I do come in line that I can meet that price, that I can put money in my pocket, give me the job. And if I can't perform the job, if I mess up, kick me off the job. I'm okay with that because you have a business to run.
Wow.
And I looked at it this way. The average wise guy would take, now this guy was building skyscrapers in Manhattan. Okay.
Wow.
The average wise guy would say, I want $20,000 a month in envelope. And they would give it. I want maybe $250,000 a year at Christmas time. They would give it. Now I'm risking the fact of extortion, where I'm going to get 10, 20 years.
Right.
So what I did, you give me the brick job or give me the plumbing on a job like that. Right. Say if it's a 20, 30-story building going up, plumbing job might be $30 million, $40 million.
Right.
On that $40 million, my end would be 10%. So off that one job that might take me a year and a half, 2 years, I'm putting $4 million in my pocket. And it's legal. I didn't extort you. We performed our service and we did it.
And you offered basically your service was, hey, if you have any problems, I will go into gangster mode to protect you.
I'm your guy. Somebody comes into you, somebody owes you money, somebody's trying to strong arm you, you come to me, I'll handle it. Here's what I want in
Yeah.
return. I don't want an envelope. Let
Yeah.
me bid the jobs. There was one job. He said, Dom, you can have the trash on the job. I can't get the, okay, thank you. Like he just gave it to me. And then other aspects of the job, if I had the plumbing, if I had the electrical, he would give it to me as long as I come in line. And there was times where I bid the brickwork. And I'm like, Joe, I can't meet their price. Go ahead, go. He said, you sure? I'll pay you a little. No, go with them.
Right.
And I'll tell you this. When I met Joe, I had grabbed him with a group of guys in the city. First time I met him. I was taking him out of a meeting. I caught him before he went into the meeting. He begged me. I said, you know what? For some reason, I trust you. Let him go. I met him that next night. And I told him, I said, you see these 7 guys here? The next 7, you're not going to know. That come for you if you go to the law. And he agreed. So after that, I told him the way I run things. I said, you can't do this. You're going to be around me. You have no choice. But here's what I want from you. He agreed. About 2 years later, I'm walking. It's Christmas time. I'm with my son's mother. We're walking in Manhattan. All of a sudden, I hear, Dominic. And I look. He's across the street, like half a block down, comes running over. And I'm like, hey, Joe, we hug. How have you been? Because we wouldn't see each other on the sites, on the construction site. Because I wouldn't look to blow him up.
All right.
And he introduces me. I'd like you to meet my son. He's going to college down here. And meet my son. When I left, I felt so humbled. I'm like, wow, this guy, from the way I first conducted myself with him, and then throughout the years, he had so much respect for me. Now, if he feared me as a gangster, he would have never called me and introduced me to his kid. But I made him feel so comfortable. I didn't take advantage of him.
Right.
And then he introduced me to a family member when I didn't see him.
I think it's crazy because you kind of did threaten him at the beginning.
Yes,
when you brought him around, you said, look, all these guys are killers. Just FYI.
Exactly. Well, what am I going to do? Hi, Joe, I'm Dominic. And you have to answer to me. He's going to look at me like, get out of here. Who the hell are you?
Yeah.
So you have to go in sometimes. You have to show your teeth.
Sure.
But I showed my teeth. I didn't bite down.
Right.
And then I did it in a business manner.
Right.
Because I look at it this way. If the government even investigated anything, I worked for him. I performed a service. Go look at the work. It's not shoddy.
Right.
So we did a performance and we did our job, and I made my money. I paid my taxes.
Yep.
As opposed to getting an envelope. And look at it this way. I might have got 4 or 5 jobs from him within that year. Where I'm making maybe $10-15 million as opposed to getting maybe $500,000 in kickbacks.
Yeah.
So I looked at it in a business sense where the average gangster would rather thug it and say, I want an envelope every month. No, I'm not into that.
Dude,
Well, give me a no-show job every day. No, I look at the bigger picture. I could earn more by getting the jobs because I have the crews to perform.
Dude, you came from like this guy. But you came from the gangster life. You had bodies on you. You were certified in the Bronx, coke dealer, did your time from a pinch that you didn't even do. And now here you are rubbing shoulders with what's more elite than a real estate developer in Manhattan? You know what I mean?
Listen, they were the 3rd largest at that time. I mean, it was just impressive. And that's why Vinny would give me everything. Vinny would push anytime something came up. Dom, go see this guy. Dom, go do this. Because he knew I would generate. I would always generate and look for a way.
Yeah.
Like I said with Perry, he had 5 restaurants on Mulberry Street. Before I got locked up, we were getting ready to open up a restaurant on Mulberry Street with Perry helping us. Yeah. So I always looked to utilize and maximize what I had to make a buck and to support us to go out, to buy things.
How did you originally, when you want to get your hooks in, like, say, a real estate developer, how do you initially make that connection?
Well, I'm going to tell you this. There's a guy, in the Bronx. His name was Mark Stagg. Look him up. The Stagg Group.
Okay.
His portfolio, and he did it all himself. Over $1.5 billion till this day. I heard he has a private jet.
Nice.
He's doing very well. Buildings, I think he has 137 buildings he owns. They love him in the Bronx. He does affordable housing. And I just had a conversation with somebody about this. I reached out to Mark. I said, Mark, could you do me a favor? Can you help me out with my project down here? I just got scammed. Here's the scenario. I need $2.7 million. I'll put up $5 million of equity to support that. And I'll give you a $3 million profit. I'll put it in writing. You're in first position. There's no liens on the property or anything. So at the end of the day, he said, yes, he'll do it. And then when I spoke to the attorneys and everything, they said, look, he has too much on the table right now. I felt he was probably afraid he just yesed me, but that's okay. And I told him, I texted him back after they said they couldn't do it. Thank you anyway for the opportunity. Maybe one of these days you'll feel comfortable. And I left it at that. But I look at this guy and it hurt me. It hurt me. And here's the reason why. The Albanians went into him. They went into him while he was coming up. He was doing mortgages, building, making a name for himself in the Gun Hill Road section of the Bronx. And what happened was he owed one of the Albanians for some work they did. I think it was $19,000. And they went into him strong, and he was giving them a check for $50,000. So I went by. He had reached out. I go by the office. Says, "What's up, Mark?" So he told me. He says, "Dom, I have to give these guys $50,000." I said, "How much do you owe them?" He said, $19,000. And he had the check ready for $50,000 to give to me to go give to them. I said, "Mark, write the check out for $19,000." No, Mark, write it out for $19,000. And if they ever come back here, you tell them, go see Dominic. I'm around Dominic. Because, Mark, if they put their hands on you, I'll deal with it. He said, "You sure?" I said, "Mark, just listen to me. Trust me. They will not touch you. Tell them I'm around Dominic. Give me the $19,000. Gives me the $19,000. I went and seen Alex, who was the head of the Albanians, Nicky, his second in command, and at the time Lenny was there. He's the Italian guy, the top three, in Morris Park. I went there. I took Jimmy McManus with me, big Irish guy, very close, great guy out of the Bronx. So we go there, and I walk in, and I told Vinny what happened, and I went there, so he was aware. So at the time, Lenny, before this, was in Italy for 2 months. Lenny just came back, and I really never cared for Lenny. I had the most respect for Alex and Nicky, even more so Nicky. So while Lenny was away, I was with Nicky, and Nicky told me one of the Albanians said something, and long and short with this story is, Nicky said, "Dom, if you want to come back, I'll call the guy. I'll bring him here, but you'll have your guys here so you feel safe." I said, "No, you my friend?" He says, "Yes." "Call him now." So in front of all the Albanians, we went into the back room. I'm by myself. We come out of the back room. The guy's bleeding. I wound up going to work on him.
And who was this guy? The guy that was, sorry.
The Albanian, the other Albanian, Nicky's friend.
Got it.
Who said I said something that I never said. He was trying to cause a problem. So when I went to hit him with the bar stool, and I went back with the bar stool, Nicky was behind me. I hit Nicky in the eye. I cut him open. So here I come out of the back room. Nicky's the head Albanian. He's bleeding. The other guy's bleeding from his nose, his eyes, his mouth. He comes out, and I'm walking out laughing. And Nicky's shaking his head. So they all saw that. But Nicky knew the type of guy I was. Like, I didn't need guys behind me. So now Lenny didn't know this. So when I went there, I'm going back and forth with them. I said, "Guys, Mark Stagg is around me." And I used profanity. I said, "Who the F do you think you guys are?" going into him. Well, Dom, he didn't say anything. He didn't know. Cool. Then I'll tone it down. He's around me. And here, I have your check for you. So Lenny like, oh, for 50,000? I said, no, you're getting the 19,000 that was owed. That's it. You're not extorting him. This is my guy. Well, how's it your guy? Number one, I don't have to explain it to you. Number two, Mark and I are doing a project on the New England Thruway. He's my guy. So Lenny turned around and said, well, I'm not accepting this, and we're going to go get our money. I said, Lenny, listen to me. You go by him, anybody goes by him or touches him in any way, shape, or form, or his place burns down, anything happens, you're going to have a problem that you never had before. I'm not Joe Gambino. So let's get that straight, Lenny. You have that? So I go to give him the check, and Lenny doesn't accept it. So now Jimmy McManus is by me. The last time, I said, this is the last time I'm going to offer you this check. So he says, we're not accepting it. All of a sudden, I said, you're not going to accept it? You're not getting anything. And as soon as I was picking it up to rip it in front of him, Nikki's on the side of me, snatches it. Says, Dom, wait a minute. Calls Lenny in the back. They talk. They come out. Lenny says, Dom, I'm sorry for the misunderstanding. He spoke to me. And I know what Nikki told him. Like, don't mess with Dom. Dom will go. Dom messed up our guy in front of me by himself with all our guys there. Like, don't do that. Dom will go. And we left it at that. So now I saved, and I had a conversation with somebody in the Bronx recently about this, where I saved Mark Stagg, because once they went into him, they would have been in his pocket till this day. Till this day. Mark would have gave up millions and millions and millions of dollars. And even if they got arrested, they would have always shook him down.
Yeah.
But because of me, he never got shook down. So I felt, you know what, Mark? I had a great conversation with him. He said yes to me. And then when he pulled the rug from me, I'm like, it was so heartening. But like I said, I'm a changed person now. After he pulled the rug, I texted him. I said, Mark, thank you for the opportunity just to speak with you. I appreciate it. Hopefully one day you'll feel different. And if you do ever change your mind, please, I could use your help. And I left it at that.
Yeah, well, sometimes you don't get back what you give to people and on an individual basis. And yeah, you just kind of got to roll with that. You know, you got to be okay with that.
Yeah, John, I agree. But what's sad, he has to look at things. He got to where he is. He didn't get to where he is today because of me, but he got to where he is without a headache and without going for tens of millions of dollars because of me.
Do you think the Albanians would have got that out of him from extortion payments?
Till this day, they would have been taking millions from him a year.
And now how
otherwise they would have shut him down. They would have shut him down.
Right. Were they originally like loaning him money? Is that how they were able to like
justify
collection?
No, I think they performed a job service and Mark never paid them.
Okay.
Mark thought he could stiff them. You know, listen, it happens all day in the legitimate world. Yeah. Trump did it in AC, stiffed everybody on the paying 10 cents on a dollar. Mark probably figured that. And then at the end of the day, the Albanians said, well, we're taxing you now. And he was getting ready to pay them. And here I never took a penny from Mark. Never took 1 cent from him. And that's the sad, it's not sad I didn't take anything. It's sad that if it was me, Mark's a billionaire right now. I'm asking you for $2.7 million. I'm securing it with property. You know what? And we had a lengthy conversation where he thanked me. He said, Dom, I know you always love the construction. Really good conversation. How's the kids? And after he said yes, I was like, oh, thank you. Thank you so much. I was so appreciative. But he has to look at it like, wow. Like, Mark, $2.5 million is nothing to him. I mean, he has a private jet, goes flying all over the country.
But you'll find the money. You got the deal. You got the land. You got the spread. You'll find the money. Now, do you think this is kind of a fascinating insight into how New York mafia families operate within the construction space and the Albanian mafia too, right? Do you think it's because of the kind of rip-off criminal or stiffing nature of construction, even legitimately, that attracts criminal families to that specific industry? Because like you said, a lot of times if you get stiffed by a legitimate business, right? Say I'm a contractor and this builder who was supposed to give me money to build something stiffs me. Well, a lot of times it's not even worth taking that person to small claims court because of the time, the lawyer fees, the headache. But I can go get Dom to take care of that for me. And now I kind of in business with Dom, whether I like it or not. Do you think that has something to do with the way that, like, yeah, you guys are able to get your hooks, the families are able to get their hooks into legitimate construction people?
Yeah, I could give you, for instance, I had Liberty Concrete. They were around me. And they were owed money. And they're like, Dom, we're owed $40,000. Can you reach out? No problem. I sent somebody to go see the people. I let them know. About a month later, hey, Dom, let's go. We're all going down to AC. Come on, our treat. We're taking you down to Atlantic City, this and that. They get the limo to take me down, comped everything. And they're like, here. I said, what's this? Well, it's just an envelope for you. We appreciate it. And of course, I'm taking the envelope. But they got their $40,000. Then another time they're trying to go into Staten Island, and the Gambinos stopped them. And we told them, no, go ahead, because Gambinos claimed they had all of Staten Island. We said no. And then they started doing business in Staten Island. So, and then Christmas time, I think that Christmas they gave me $25,000 for Christmas.
Yeah.
But these are the perks they get. Any problems they have, I'll step up,
Yeah.
And if they want to they know they have to do the right thing, and that's it.
Yeah.
So, New York, it's just too tightly knit. Right. And yes, people go into big companies to shake them down, to maybe get no-show jobs. And remember, we had the unions up there too. There's still Teamsters, labor unions. That's how I got into the union. I was in the tile, marble, and terrazzo union. They had the bricklayers union, I busted my ass when I worked, but the pay was off the charts.
How do wise guys make money out of unions? I've asked this question to a few people, and I still don't quite understand it. Like, how would you go about, turning that into a racket?
Well, it depends what jobs you go on. The union delegate, he'll probably give you all the premium jobs to go on where easy. Sometimes no-show jobs. The contractors will know you're with organized crime. They're not going to work you because they know your status, your stature. Oh. But then again, you could go up to them and say, listen, you have any problems, I'll take care of it. Or sometimes the union delegate will tell the construction owner, you have any problems on this job? Dominic's my guy. Dominic will handle it. And then the owner of the company knows he's not going to work me as he is the other guys because God forbid something arises. He knows I'm the one handling it.
Yeah.
So, that's how they make money. And other times, if you're high up, I know, I don't want to mention it because I'm still close with the people, but you have access to funds and everything in the unions that you could get loans and put money to work for you. So there's always ways to do things.
And is there benefit to doing what you ask? Your protection in case they run into any problems from, I don't know, competing guys that are trying to shake them down? Or
of course.
Okay, got it.
And I could give you, for instance, with the tile, marble, and terrazzo. I was originally in New Jersey. When I went to New York, I opened up A&N Tile. My first job was the Hunts Point Meat Market to do the tile work. First day, I walked in there with 2 union guys. After that, it was just one union guy who I paid off the books, and then all people that weren't part of the union. Nobody and that was a union job. So I had 4 or 5 guys working. Nobody was union. All the unions knew it, but nobody came and bothered me, not even our union delegate. They knew, leave them alone. And also another perk, whenever jobs would pop up, I would call the union president, hey, I need some work. and they would refer me, give me jobs.
Right.
So, as a business owner.
Right.
So
So
those are the perks.
it seems like the culture, it seems like the legacy and the brand and the fear, let's be honest, the fear that of what the families can do and are capable of doing is what uh gives you guys respect. It opens the door to deal with, the head of a construction company or a cement company, right? Like it seems like the legitimate owners of these construction related businesses in New York are they're kind of used to how it works with the families, right?
Correct.
Wow.
It's so embedded in that culture
Right.
that it's normal.
Yeah.
And you know what? There are benefits to it.
For
If somebody
sure.
owes them money, listen, if you're, say, a bricklayer and it's a union job and I'm on the job, so I'm hooked up, organized crime, and you come to me, Dom, could you do me a favor? Get in touch with our delegate. He's sending all crappy mechanics. Look at the job, like they're not moving. So I'll call him up. Hey, Billy, do me a favor. Get these guys off the job. They're garbage. Send this guy some good mechanics because they have to produce. Within 2 or 3 days, the guys will be rotated. Now he'll have a good crew because I made a phone call for him.
Wow.
So that's just the way it works. Now you have assholes, contractors.
Mm-hmm.
So what the delegates will do, they'll send them the crappy workers, the guys who don't produce, who aren't quality. Of course, you have that.
Mm-hmm.
And, their jobs are shoddy.
Right.
But the guys who play ball, they get the good workers.
Yeah.
And, it's a team. Everybody works. Everybody makes money.
Right.
And it's a racket.
So you really had respect. You had your stripes in this world.
Yeah, I think it was. And it's funny that you say that because I called another contact of mine who very friendly with, go back with him a long time. And he could actually help me out. He's considering with my projects. So I'm like, let me ask you something. I told you this about 3 weeks ago, and you could do it like that. But it seems like you're dragging me along. And I text him. I'm like, were you ever my friend or you respected the title? So he texts me back, are you drinking? No, I'm not drinking. So okay, we need to have a drink. So I says, after you come into my project, help bail me out, then we'll have a drink. And he laughed, LOL. But he said, no, Dom, I'll get to it this week. I'm sorry, I just been busy. But I felt like that. Like it seemed like from Mark Stagg to this guy, it seems like they all respected the title that they don't respect me now because I'm not in the life.
But, just to play devil's advocate, you can kind of understand that. You can kind of, if you're a gangster and you're part of these families that kill people, historically and, allegedly shake people down. And I mean, dude, it was a frightening time for business owners. Like if you listen to them, people that remember like the bad old days, like the 70s and 80s, right?
Right.
They were legitimately scared. Like, dude, Sammy the Bull, what he was here a week ago, he shows up, right, with his handler, this nice, Latino lady who kind of handles his bookings.
Oh,
Anna. Yes, you met Anna.
Very nice lady.
Yeah, super cool. But then he shows up with these two Gindaloons that are, bro, they look like you, like they're at least your size, but tall, and they're not, I'm cracking jokes and they're not smiling. They're like, and they walk up to me and they're like, is there anybody else in the house? Like, so you could see like it was wild. I felt like I was back in the 90s in Bensonhurst. So you could see if those guys for generations are coming around really threatening you, like you're going to pay us or there's going to, you're going to get a brick through your window, your store is going to light on fire. So you're kind of signing up for that when you join the life. So you can, I don't know. Personally, I don't think you can be that upset if they were kind of looking at you as they respected you out of fear. Maybe they liked you, but you got to understand why they also feared you.
You know what? I agree with what you say, but I disagree. The only reason why, I didn't treat anybody violently. I was always a gentleman, a businessman. Do you know I had bankers investors, all these guys around me. Nobody knew I was straightened out. Nobody knew. It came out when Vinny Basciano got caught on the James Taglione tape. When I did the surveillance in the diner, James, and I told Vinny, I text Vinny, 911, there's a lot of cops, because we thought he was a cooperator, he was ratting, which he was. And then Vinny told him, Dominic's my acting captain. All of a sudden, now I became a pimple on a bull's ass.
Yeah.
Where I wasn't. The government had no clue. And then when it first came out in the papers, everybody backed away from me because they didn't want the heat. But I conducted myself as a gentleman. At times I would show my teeth, maybe like with the guy Joe in Manhattan. But I didn't show my teeth where I grabbed him, threw him up against the wall. I didn't make a move. And then I told him, I said, you know what? For some reason, I trust you. But you see these guys? If I wind up in jail, the next 7 you see, you're not going to recognize. And I had to make that statement because I let him go. I let him go to his meeting where I was going to take him there now and we were going to have the conversation.
Right.
But after that, I treated everybody as a gentleman, as a business transaction.
Right.
So guys like Mark Stagg, I put myself on the line to have a war. Where because if the Albanians went into you, I'm killing them. I'm killing them. And I'm putting my life, my livelihood, where I could be taken for you.
Yeah.
And now I come to you, humble, asking, and you're worth over $1 billion legitimately.
Yeah.
And I'm asking you for $2.5 million that I'm securing with properties.
Right.
I'm not asking for a handout.
Right.
I'm asking for a partner.
Right.
I'll handle it. And then I even secured a $3 million profit to him.
Yeah.
In writing, tie it up, properties go in your name, everything's in your name. But at the end of the day, I make my fulfillments, then everybody gets paid. Right. And I get what I have coming. And you don't even look at it like, wow, Dominic could have did life in prison because of me, because of the issue I have.
Yeah.
You know what? I do owe it to Dominic. He always treated me fairly. He never went in my pocket.
Right. I understand that. I could it's disappointing for sure.
Yeah, for sure. More hurt. I was more hurt than I was disappointed, but more hurt. Because I really thought after he said yes, I got off. I was like, yes, I finally, okay, we're off to the races. But God does everything for a reason. And, so be it. But I was a gentleman even after that. I didn't text him, you son of a bitch, or you this. I said, thank you for the opportunity. I appreciate it. I always wish you the best. And maybe one day, if you feel like, you change your mind, I'm here. I could use your help.
This is going to be the dumbest question you ever heard. But is it, if you now, out of the life, legitimate construction business person, could you go to a different family? Maybe not even a New York family. Could you go to a wise guy in Detroit? Right? The Detroit guys are fucking made of money. Those are shrewd guys, right? They're kind of like the Genovese. Could you go to them? Like, is there any stigma around if you're in the life, is there a stigma with, doing some quiet business with a guy who previously cooperated?
Listen, I do business with people that are still in the life. I still communicate with them. I was just at dinner when I was in Manhattan with some people. Really? So there's people that love me for me and what I was about. And they feel like, Dom, you did what you had to do. I don't make excuses. I still say, excuse me, I took the coward way out because there is no excuse. And they'll even tell me, stop it. I feel like punching you in the mouth. Stop saying that. But at the end of the day, listen, I'm a civilian now. I'm trying. It was difficult. Like I think I said on your show prior, picture a kid going to kindergarten for the first day, not knowing anybody. And that's at 5 years old. How scared he is. Picture a 45-year-old coming out, or 44-year-old coming out of prison in an area he doesn't know and doesn't know anybody, with only $25,000 in his pocket. Picture how scary that is.
Sure.
So I think these past 11 years, I met a wonderful woman who, we've been together the whole time, married. She always had my back. She was my rock, and it enabled me to go out and do my thing to accumulate a wealth. And if I just didn't recently get scammed, my cash reserves would be okay. But it happens, and I got taken, and it was all based on the land. I believed in somebody. They gave me fake bank statements, fake this, fake that, and I got swindled. But I could sell all my assets, and I'm well off. I don't have to work. But that wasn't my plan, because after these construction projects, it puts me on a level that I could do whatever I want. Like, I'll have more money than I ever had before. But you know what? You live and learn. Maybe it's God pulling me back, giving me testing me to make sure I don't go over that line, or to keep me in line and keep me humble. So I look at everything. I try to take negatives and turn them into a positive. And, I just keep on going. But life is not easy. It's not a bowl of cherries. But, I just keep on plugging away. And eventually, I'm sure something will work out.
Yeah, yeah. Well, maybe somebody will see this clip. Some, connected guy will see this clip and reach out to you, and maybe we'll promote.
Connected guy.
Do you have a funding prospectus? I don't know if we have any whales on that listen to the show, but we could put a link to your, like, if you had a website with like the prospectus, what the total business plan laid out, we could promote it for you.
All right. Well, thank you. I'll make sure I get it over to you guys. But you know what? You could just, if somebody reaches out to you, they're interested, they could get in touch with the lawyers, and we lawyer up just to assure them that, everything's above board, what I say, and that's it. We'll go from there. But thank you for that.
Yeah, yeah, of course. I mean, I think you're right there. All of your work post prison is, you're right at that point where you're about to see the fulfillment of all these, all this years of hard work.
Listen, I drafted a letter to Judge Garifas, actually today, explaining what happened. Because, this person, not only, and I can't divulge their names right now because of the legal stuff, but this person, was 2 convictions for fraud. I found out after they defrauded me. Cooperated against the Bonanno crime family. I never knew that. Never even knew it.
Crazy.
When my flags went up, I started checking things. I'm like, and then I Googled, I did research. I'm like, oh my God, this person's a convicted felon against the Bonannos.
Wow.
They robbed $500,000 from the Bonannos, another $700,000 from somebody down here while on probation. Got time for that. So, of course, I contacted the FBI. I'm a civilian. What am I going to do? I can't go harm anybody anymore. I'm not part of that life.
Right.
So what does a civilian do? Contact the FBI. They're looking into it to get somebody down here. So I said, you know what? I'm going to write a letter to Garifas, because I felt, and I just got word from the FBI, no, we will go after them. But to me, it's like they're not moving down here. Now, if it was in New York, it's a different story. Florida is different. So I wrote Judge Garifas, and I'm going to fax it over to him with all the fraudulent bank statements, documents, and I'm asking him for some intervention. You always believed in me. I'm home 11 years. I don't even have a traffic violation. I'm doing things above board, and what this person did to me could jeopardize all the hard work I put in these 11 years. I could lose everything. So, because I know he has the integrity where I'm sure pick up the phone, get somebody on it down there. Because I want to see this person. I do want to see this person locked up. It's a disgrace what they did to me. It's like, wow, you portrayed that you're part of a real estate team. I never knew you had a criminal history for forgery, deceit, and scams. And when I found out, I was taken back. And it's just really disheartening. It's disheartening. And
do you sometimes miss about being in the life? Like if that happened to you when you were the captain of the Bonanno family, you could just go handle it yourself.
It would have been done. It would have definitely been done. This person would have been, it would have been bad.
Yeah. Yeah.
but I don't live that lifestyle anymore. So I
Yeah.
can't,
Yeah.
it hurts. It hurts. But now I thank God it's only money. And I have to think this way. God is just putting another obstacle in front of me.
Mm.
Maybe he's keeping me humble. Maybe I was growing too fast.
Mm-hmm.
Trust me, I'm comfortable. And I went out, I purchased, seeing the deal, it's done. The bank accounts, the money, I'm getting $4.6 million. We're off to the races.
Right.
And this is the equity position. I still hold 50% of my project.
Wow.
I went out, I bought an Audi R8. And my wife is like, Dom, don't do it. Don't do it. Wait till no, it's done. It's done. Look, we got the papers. The lawyer has the papers. The letter of intent is signed. The money's there. Here's the account. It was all a fraud.
How did you get frauded though? I thought they were supposed to send you money. Why were you
They were
sending
supposed to send me money, but I advanced them money to get the money out of a trust fund. They were breaking a trust fund, so they had to pay fees and everything. And it was easier they had a good scam. It was easier for the tax purposes. They showed me a letter from the lawyer. Everything was just total.
Whenever you send money to get money,
that's
the no.
But the person is here with me every day. Right. They're here with me.
Right.
It's like, I didn't do it. I still have a trust. I still have this. And it's all lies. It's all lies. Like, I'm just.
Yeah, and they'll lie about it even after they get caught.
And I turned around and I said, don't claim the victim. You're the predator here. Mm-hmm. You are a predator. You're not a victim.
Yeah.
I didn't threaten you. I just want my money back.
Yeah.
So we'll see by the 25th. They have close to a little over $250,000 to pay me back.
Oh, so they might actually pay you back. It's not.
We'll see. They paid back $49,000 of it so far. So they have till the 25th. If they don't by the 25th, then as per the theft letter they received, we could file civil action against them.
Right. Dude, you can see why the mafia was so useful for so long, right? And especially it grew out of a place like Italy where there was almost no state. There was almost no authority to settle these disputes between people civilly, right? Even in America, it takes forever. And it's not perfect. So you can see why you're like, I got to send Dom after you. I got no choice. I'm an honest person, but the guy down the street sipping an espresso in front of the pizza joint, he's living in a different century, and he will come handle what the government is supposed to handle.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yes, I do. Trust me.
But I think you got good times ahead, dude. I think you're going to get that money back, and man, maybe if we cash out of this show, Dom, and you still need an investor, holler at me, buddy. You're a friend. You're a real friend, dude. You're a friend of the show, and you're a friend of mine. So, I think, and the vodka company, that will resolve itself, right? And I'm
sure eventually, yes.
And I encourage people can still get EG vodka. Can you plug
yes.
away?
Matter of fact, people, they froze me out of the company.
Right.
So but I'm still for the company, for the vodka. I'm still a majority shareholder, but I'm froze out of all the activity because we're battling it out for the fiduciary responsibility of the company. So I'm out for the company's interest. But you could go to egvodka.com. They have a special. You order 4 bottles or more. It comes down to $18.99 a bottle. Mm-hmm. So order 6 bottles. You're paying $18.99 a bottle, plus put the promo code FluffFluff. Shipping is on me. So now you're getting 6 bottles of vodka that's organic, gluten-free, less than you would picking it up in a liquor store.
Yep.
So go to egvodka.com, order it today, 100% organic, gluten-free, 6 bottles or more, put the promo code FluffFluff, shipping is on me, and plus it gets dropped to $18.99 a bottle. You'll love it. You have to try it.
Yeah, stack up. Really if you're a listener and you're a vodka drinker, just stack up for the rest of the year. Get 6 bottles.
The holidays. The holidays, the greatest gift. We have a Mercedes-Benz dealership out here in Orlando, VIP Mercedes. They take every 3 months, they buy 30 cases of vodka from us. That's how good it is. 30 cases a month. and they give it to their clients.
Wow.
Or
Wow.
everybody who purchases a car, they give it to them. They make a
Amazing.
package. Yep,
Wow.
they take 30 cases every 3 months.
Wow. Wow. So it's beat Grey Goose, I think, in a taste test.
Yeah, we beat Grey Goose 4 out of 5 times in a national taste test. That was some years back, but
It's a
we
good
have won
vodka.
awards, silver, medals, I think some gold standard medals.
Yeah.
But it is so smooth, it's dangerous because you don't taste it. You really
Right.
don't taste it.
Right.
There's no burn. And like I said, we're certified, USDA certified, organic and gluten-free.
Yeah, there you go. Dominic, really, really appreciate seeing you again, my man. As always, it's just talking to you is like, it's like talking to real life Tony Soprano or something, it's,
Was it like talking to Sammy?
Yeah. All right. Or talk. Yeah.
With his goons.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly. Yeah, but I think you were a little sharper. That's why it's very easy to see why you thrived in the life because you've got the body and the gangster of a goon, but the mind of a billionaire real estate investor.
Well, thank you for that compliment, John. And it's always a pleasure anytime you want to have me on. And like we said, there's a lot of things I have on. Hopefully we'll collaborate. We'll put something together and we'll put out a really good product. I think
Absolutely. No, we're going to do that. We got more content coming. So we're going to talk more, but we're going to get out of here. Patreon. Thank you so much. Check out Dom's YouTube channel. And of course, EG Vodka, promo code Fluff. Pick up those 6 bottles. And we will see you next time. Thank you, Dom.
Johnny, thank you. Wish you the best.
You got it. Take care.